Very good morning to all. After pressure vessel and its details, now we will be discussing about in the next chapter statistical considerations in design. So in this chapter, there are different terms as far as the statistics is concerned. So we will be discussing in the statistical considerations. Very first, frequency distribution, then probability distribution, then normal curve, and design and natural tolerances. So this is the introduction to different statistical considerations. There is one separate subject, the statistics. So all the terms are there in the statistics, or you can say in more elaborated way, reliability in design or reliability is one more subject. But as per as your syllabus is concerned, so some part is extracted, and now whatever is required as per as a design engineer you should know. So that things are here, and that we will discuss one by one. So these are the different bits that we will be covering. So today we will be focusing on frequency distribution. Frequency distribution. So very first, what is statistics? We have heard the word number of times. So statistics deals with drawing conclusions from a given or observed data. Drawing conclusions from a given or observed data. For example, I will tell you 20% students from our class will publish a paper in the national or international conference in third year. So this is the statistics. What are the number of students and what is the 20%, and this is what part of statistics. Out of that 20%, again 5% will publish in good national conference, 5% in international conference, and remaining 10% can go for some journal publication or something like that. So this is the statistics. So whatever the data, whatever group is there, whatever the observations are there, so drawing the conclusions based on the observation. So this is nothing but the statistics. For more understanding purpose, I have given the example of class only. So statistical techniques are used for collection, processing, analysis, and interpretation of numerical data. So what these different statistics techniques are there? They are used for very first collection of the data. Any data, you can say the marks obtained by students from division A, division B, collection of data. Processing of the data, making filter who are greater than 40, more than 50, more than 60, and analysis. Now further comes, then I can say from the data that, okay, 60% students have scored more than 70 marks, 20% students scored have less than 60%, and 10% students have scored more than 85%. So this is the analysis of the data. So very first, collection of the data, processing of the data, making applying different filters, and analysis and interpretation. Interpret, what can I interpret from the data? These are the 10 students who have scored approximately above this interpretation. So this example I am giving you for understanding purpose, that statistical techniques are used for collection, processing, analysis, and interpretation of numerical data. On the basis of statistical analysis, valid conclusions are drawn and reasonable decisions are taken. So this I have given you the example of class students. If you can take the example of any lathe machine, that if I will produce 100 jobs on the lathe machine, and the lathe machine is producing 70% job not in required tolerance. So conclusions and reasonable decisions. The decision may be that this machine cannot be used for producing or this means good quality, stringent tolerance jobs. So this machine can be used for rough work, but it cannot be used for this type of job. So this is the conclusion drawn. What is the data taken for this? So 100 jobs made on the lathe machine. For example, a diameter is required 50 plus minus 0.1. So 49.9 to 50.1 is allowed. So data is collected, the diameter for 100 jobs. Processing is made, and then analysis and interpretation is done that out of this, out of 100, 30 jobs are within the limit and 70 jobs are out of limit. Okay, wherever there is still material reduction possible, we can go for, but wherever there is more material reduction, we cannot. So in this way, sound and valid conclusions and reasonable decisions. So conclusion that this machine is having means not capable for producing, or it requires some rectification, some modification, some more calibrations and something like that, whatever required in the machine, and then it can be used for this type of operations. Otherwise, this machine cannot be used for this type of operation. This is I am giving you just example, and why this number 100, 30, 70 for clear more understanding about the word statistics. Statistics enables the engineer to understand the phenomena of variations and how to effectively predict and control them. Statistics. This statistics enables the engineer to understand the phenomena, to understand the process variations, how variations are there, and how effectively predict and control. Not only predict, controlling is also important. And the statistics gives that where are the lacunas the process is giving, and so that the engineer can take the action and controlling of the process or controlling the variations can be possible. So this about the statistics. Statistics has made valuable contributions in the areas of product design, manufacture, and effective use of material and labor. So statistics has made valuable. Where is the contribution? It has a contribution in product design, then manufacturing of product, and the effective use of material, effective use of labor. So statistics has the contribution in all these fields. Let us discuss the different terms about the population and sample. Okay, so the basic data consists of observations such as diameter of shaft manufactured in one shift. I have given you the example. So we can elaborate up to certain extent that diameters of shaft, if assume that the machine is working for 3 shifts, morning, afternoon and night, 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. So the diameters of the shaft which are manufactured in one shift. So it is taken, and in this case the group of shaft is called as the population. So whatever the shaft which are taken in consideration, taken in account for one shift, it is called as the population. For example, assume that there are 100 diameters or readings are taken in one shift, then I will call it as population 100. When the group is large, it is not possible to take the observations of the entire population. In such cases, only a small portion of the population is examined, and this is called as a sample. Very important. In many of the cases, now 100 diameters you can measure, but you can take the example that the lot is, for example, 1000 or 5000 in one shift. Small components are there. So it is not possible to record the diameters or whatever the dimensions required to measure for all the components. So in such cases, friends, only a small portion. Let us assume that the portion may be of, for example, out of 1000, 10 samples, 100 samples, 50 samples. So 5%, I will say 50 samples. If the lot is of 5000, I will say 250 samples, or 1%, 100 samples. So whatever small portion of the population is examined, I will examine 50 samples out of 1000, and based on the 50 sample, I will predict about the remaining 950 samples. So if all 50 samples are okay, then I will say that the lot is okay. So this is the whatever the small portion which are examined, and based on it the judgment is passed for the population. The small portion is called as the sample. So friends, now we have discussed about what is population and what is sample. The entire lot which is under consideration is called as population, And if it is not possible to record, measure, having the observation of all entire population, then a small part is taken and it is called as a sample. Population is defined as collection of all elements. See here, collection of all elements we are studying about which we are trying to draw conclusion. So whatever number of elements which are in under consideration, it is the population. On the other hand, a sample is defined as the collection of some, but not all. Very important. Collection of some samples, but not all samples of the elements of population. So this is the definition. Once again, it is clear what you can call it as a population and what you can call it as a sample. A sample is a part of population, but the converse is not true. So a sample is a part of population. It is easier to study the sample than studying the whole population. It costs less and also takes less time. Very simple. So study a sample. For example, I have given you already idea. There are 1000. Assume that there are 1000 total specimens in any of the population or any of the lot, I will say. So in this case, for taking the reading of 1000, number one part, and for taking the reading of only 50, I will say 5%. So if I will go for sample, then it requires definitely less time to take the reading of 5 as compared to reading of 1000, number one. So it required less cost, and again less time is also consumed for this. A representative sample has the characteristics of the population in the some proportions as they are included from the entire population. Very important. From where we are selecting the samples? There is the answer is only from population. So whatever the samples we are analyzing, they are the representative part of the population, and therefore they have the characteristics of the population. They have the characteristics of the population. Therefore, many times sample is analyzed instead of entire population. Just I have given you example. Lot size is 1000, and to measure there are 5 dimensions for a different job. So to if I will take the sample size as 50, so I will go for analyzing the 50 only. Just I am example. This is your total population. This is the total size, I will say. The number of shaft or produced in a shift, and I have to go for the measuring the dimensions of 1000. So if I will go for a sample, it requires less cost and again less time. And the 50 are taken from the 1000, so they are having the characteristics of the population, and therefore, and the 50 are okay, then the decision about the population can be taken. And this method of sample is used, preferred many times. So this is the concept of population and sample. Let us consider, now we will go for the frequency distribution and what is the raw data and how the dimensions are measured and what we will get, how the lot size is defined and what we will get out the dimensions. So let us having one example and we will discuss about all these things. So let us consider an example of 100 shaft of hydrodynamic bearing. So I will highlight here, total shafts are taken as 100 of hydrodynamic bearing with recommended tolerance of 47. This is the tolerance given. The shafts are manufactured on lathe and finished on grinding machine. So the basic manufacturing is made on lathe machine and they are finished on the grinding machine. Their diameters are measured by micrometer and readings are tabulated in the table. So 100 shafts are there. Initial on lathe machine and finishing on grinding machine, and all the diameters are measured by micrometers, and here are the readings. See here 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. So here are the total, if you say 100 readings in the table. So these are readings are tabulated in the table. The readings in the table are called as raw data. So very rough stage. So not processing, no any finishing, no any operation, no any process is also done in this. So this is the raw data. A data is defined as the collection of number of belonging to observation of one or more variables. So one or more variable, here we have taken only the diameters measured by micrometer. So this is only one part. And collection of these 100 data, 100 diameters are presented in table 1. In this case, diameter of shaft is variable. So I have given you idea, only one variable, diameter of shaft. And 100 numerical readings are taken by micrometer. This is called as a data. So here diameter is variable, and whatever 100 numerical readings are there taken by micrometer, this will form a data related to this. So this is the raw data. I am just elaborating in order to give or more focus so that it will be easy to you to understand the concept. So raw data is the data before it is arranged or analyzed by statistical method. So this is just a table. No any statistical tool is applied. No any arrangement plus minus is done. Therefore, this is the raw data. Before it is analyzed, before it is rearranged by any of the statistical method. So this we will call it as the raw data. Raw data does not show any pattern or a trend of population and does not lead to any conclusion. So this is just a table. This is just a table. So it gives only readings for 100 diameter. So this is nothing but the raw data. By observing to these 100 readings, we cannot go for any, it is not showing any pattern that in this range the diameters are less, in this range the diameters are more. 10. It will not also give the any conclusion trend of population that out of 100 this percent reading is follow under this category, or it is not leading to any conclusion also, as the data is not processed. It is just a data for reference. It is not processed. Therefore, it will not give any pattern. It will not give any trend, or it will also not lead to any conclusion. So here we are, the objective of statistical technique is to rearrange and present the data. So whatever 100 readings are there, they are required to be rearranged and present in a useful way so that decision can be taken. So the same data will be rearranged and it will be present in some useful way so that the further readings or further decisions can be taken. It will lead to any conclusion and it will give to any pattern or trend of the population. So this is the objective of this data. Now again consider the same table. So here frequency distribution, 100 readings, shaft diameter is taken. The readings are in millimeter and this is the raw data. This is just 100 readings are there and no any processing is done to the data. Now, let us rearrange the data given in table 1 on the basis of shaft against the diameter of shaft against the number of shaft. A particular diameter such as 39.926 is written in the first column and each shaft with this diameter shown by mark X. So see here, this is done. So we are having 100 readings. So if you refer this table, then you can see the 39.926. So how many times this reading is repeated? How many shaft is having this reading? So here number of shaft 1. So total this reading is 1 time. For example, 39.933. So this reading is 5 times. So if you refer here, you will get this 39.933 5 times. So in this way, the data is analyzed the diameter, the shaft reading diameter is taken on the one side, and the other side, the number of times the reading is repeated. This is on another side. And in this way, the data is, we can say, tabulated. And the further what we can do. For example, I will give you idea. See here. 99.993, 39.933. Again, you search. Just one example for your understanding, I am giving you. This is third. Okay. This is fourth. This is number 5. So this reading 39.933 occurs 5 times. I have highlighted in the chart also. So you can easily observe in the chart. Very interesting. So just I have given you the example. This 39.933. This reading is there 5 times. So in this way, diameter against the shaft. So this diameter one time, this diameter one time, 39.928 one time, 39.929 one time. In this way, 39.933 5 times. If you can refer this, 39.945 2 times. So in this way, and if I will go for making the addition, the total should be only, if I will go for addition, the total will be 100, because 100 shafts are there. The total shaft will be 100. So this is the first step in analyzing the data. I have given you. Finally, the number of marks are counted and written in the last column. This I have shown here. How many number of shafts are there? They are written. On the left column, diameter is written. For the same diameter, how many shafts are there? It is taken. And finally, the total number of shafts. And if I will go for counting the last column, the addition must be equal to 100. For example, the total number of shafts with a diameter 39.94 is 8. I have given you the example. They have given the 39.94. Okay. So I have given you the example, this example, 39.933. I have highlighted in the main diagram also how many times it is repeated. I have given you it is repeated 5 times. So same example, you can go for all. So this is the first data, processing of the data. Now, I will say this is table 1. First processing of the data. Now, based on this, again further it is modified to next. The data in table 1 is further rearranged in the form of frequency distribution table and represented in table number 2. So I will call it as table number 2. Frequency distribution is defined as the organized display of data. Very important. I am highlighting here. Organized display of data that shows number of observations that fall into different classes. Now what is done? See carefully, 39.926 to 39.930, 39.931 to 39.935. So I will read only points, 0.936, 0.940, 0.941, 0.945, and 0.946, 0.950. So whatever the readings are there here, 39.926 to 39.930, they are categorized in one part. 31 to 35, second part. 36 to 40, third part. 41 to 45, fourth part. And 46 to 50, fifth. So these are called as the classes. So as per the terminology, these are called as the classes. So whatever it is shown here, these are nothing but the classes. So the data is divided into 5 classes. Very first we have gone for identifying or processing of the data. Then we have gone for writing the classes. And now in this class 39.926 to 39.930, how many shafts are there? 5. In the second class 931 to 935, 19 shafts are there. In the third class 936 to 940, I am reading only decimal points, 21 and sorry 48. In the next class 39.941 to 945, 21. And in the last class 7. And if you go for addition, the addition must be equal to 100. The addition must be equal to 100. So this is very important. So let me repeat, friends. And based on this data, we will go for analyzing. So let us discuss what is class and what is class width, and then how to represent the data. So here, very first, a table is there. Then based on this table 100 data, we have gone for writing the diameter and how many number of shafts. Then these diameters are splitted, taken into classes. So these are the 5 classes. And how many number of shafts are there that are written? It is observed that from table 2, the first class consists of shaft with diameter ranging from 39.926 to 39.930. The number of observation belonging to each class is called as class frequency. Very, very important. The number of observations belonging to each class is called as class frequency. Therefore, class frequency for first is, it is 5. It is 5. The class frequency for first class is 5. So there are 5 classes: 39.926 to 930, 930 to 935, 935 6 to 40, 941 to 945, and 945 to 950. I have called only decimal numbers. Okay. So whatever the observations belonging into this particular class is called as the class frequency. Therefore, first class frequency is 5. The range 926 to 930 defines as the class. This range is called as the class. Okay, and then it is called as class, and range is called as the class interval. So 39.926 to 39.930, it is called as the class intervals, and 39.926 is the lower limit, and 39.930 is the upper limit for the class. Okay, so I can say here. So what is the class interval? So 39.926 to 39.930 is the class interval, and this is the lower limit of the class, and this is the upper limit of the class. And the difference between the limits, what is the difference? 26 to 30. So I will call it as 0.005 mm. So how you can calculate? 39.930 minus 39.926. You will get it as 0.005 millimeter. So this you can call it as class width. So friends, now we have discussed about what you can call it as a class. Okay. Then if I take here example for your understanding, 39.926 to 39.930. So whatever in between this 39.926 to 39.930, I will call it as a class interval. This is the lower limit of the class. This is the upper limit of the class, and the difference between these two, 0.005 millimeter, you can call it as the class width. So these are different things that you can learn. In table 2, the classes are equal. So here the classes may be unequal. So in this case, all classes are equal. 26 to 30, 31 to 35, 36 to 40, 41 to 45, and 46 to 50. All classes are equal. Therefore, the width of the interval from beginning of one class to beginning of next class is same. So class width is also same for all these cases. Equal classes are always preferred in statistical analysis. If the classes are equal, it is easy to analyze. If the classes are not equal, then again some different techniques are required to use. So equal classes are always preferred in the statistical analysis. When the classes are unequal, the distribution of one distribution is more difficult to interpret. Very important. See, if it is equal, you can easily analyze the data. If it is unequal, difficult to interpret. Very, very important. So now all these things, we have made classes, we are having the readings, and now how to go for representation of this frequency distribution. The last part, representation of this frequency distribution. There are two methods which are used for distribution of the frequency. The first method is the histogram. Histogram, you know, it is the bar chart. And the second is the frequency polygon. So we will discuss in figure. The histogram consists of a set of rectangles. So histogram is nothing but a set of rectangles. The base of rectangle is on the x-axis. Equal to the class width. Now class width is same for all. Therefore, this is histogram. And like this, the graphs are drawn. Just for example, I am giving you whatever number is there that we will draw separately. Okay. So the base of the rectangle on x-axis is equal to class width. Whatever the base is here I am highlighting. This is nothing but the class width. And the area of rectangle is proportional to class frequency. The area is proportional to class frequency. And now in our case, the class widths are same. When the class widths are equal, the heights are directly proportional to class frequency. The height will be proportional to frequency of the classes. So this is the, and again I will give you example. This is the construction of histogram, and the frequency polygon is a line graph of class frequency plotted against the class mark or midpoint. So in the same case, I will try to highlight. So you can see here midpoint if I will join this class interval. So like this midpoint. So whatever curve will they get, it is nothing but the frequency polygon. So see here. Now 39.925 to 930 and height is we are having, see just the readings 5, 19, 48, 21, 7. So here, see here, for your understanding, I am writing 5. So you can 30 to 35. Okay. 35 to 40. Okay. Then 45 to 50. So like that it is made. So there are whatever the intervals are there, 5 intervals. So if required, the data can be rearranged and whatever these heights will be drawn. So it will give you the histogram. So I can say here, this is the histogram. Okay, and next, the frequency polygon. So now the midpoints are joined. You can see here, taking from first at 0. This is second midpoint. And last is at bottom 0. So if you can see here in this case, the midpoints are joined and whatever you will get, so you can call it as the frequency polygon. So in this way, whatever the data is there, it can be presented as histogram or it can be presented as frequency polygon. When a large number of observations are taken with very small class width, you see here, The class width you can easily identify. Only 5 classes are there. So if assume that 100 classes are there and very small class width is there, then the frequency polygon becomes an approximate curve. The frequency polygon becomes an approximate curve, and one such frequency curve which is widely used in the statistical analysis is the normal curve as shown. So we can call it as the normal curve. This you can call it as the normal curve. So this is the frequency. So here, whatever example we have taken, based on the example, it is mentioned. So what is the example we are taking? That we are having 5 classes, the 5 class widths are there, and based on each class width, the data is pasted, the base indicates the width, and whatever the height is there, it is depend upon that 5 whatever reading we have taken frequency. So in this case, as very less number are there and the class width is also good, only 5 classes. But if you go for a large number of observations and very small class width, so if observations are very large and class widths are small, the frequency polygon becomes an approximate curve. So this is the approximate curve. One such frequency curve, which is widely used in statistical analysis, is called as the normal curve. So this is the normal curve in the frequency polygon.